So, hello again. Let me introduce to you Oleg Ivanov. I met him here at AIBC Summit in Dubai. And I was very glad to meet him again because last time I saw him in Seoul, South Korea. You remember?
It was on the 9th, I think.
19th, yeah. So you could tell us briefly what happened with you, with your business during last 2 years.
A couple of years, yeah.
Yes.
I guess like everybody in the space, we had to suffer through a very long crypto winter. Just in a couple of words, we're an investment fund, right? And we have two divisions. Back in 2017, we started our venture division. And that was a very successful ride first, then a very painful ride through the winter. And we're back on our track, actually multiplying like crazy at the moment, so which is great. And mid 2019, we started a DeFi division as well, which is now called Berezka DAO. And that one is just phenomenal, of course. So thanks God and fingers crossed.
Yeah, I know your venture fund invested in many blockchains. How many, by the way, were they?
I would say it's over 50 now. Yeah, and most of them were pretty much outside of the Russian-speaking world, let's say. So lots of them in Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, China, US, Middle East actually, and Europe, of course. So pretty much cross-border. Some of the names, I don't know if you would want them, but Icon was probably one of our first success. Icon from Korea, of course. IRGO, Phantom, New Cipher, Orchid, Casper Labs now, Mina Protocol, tons of other.
So you made more than 50 decisions to invest, though I think that there were many more decisions when you decided not to invest.
Exactly.
Yes. And now DAO makes the decision. You created the new company that's organized in the form of DAO. Is it correct that DAO is managed by the owners of DAO? So it means decentralized autonomous organization.
Yeah.
So does it mean that now not you but someone else, the participants of DAO, make their decisions where to invest?
It's a very good question. So we would have to sort of streamline our question into a specific area, right? So once again, the venture fund that we have, it's a traditional fund regulated out of Cayman Islands, Hong Kong, and Delaware, depending on our divisions there. So that definitely stays out of your question at the moment. Now, if we talk about Berezka DAO, it is in fact structured in the form of DAO, but it follows the same pattern as you would have with your traditional fund. So with any traditional fund, you usually have a GP and LP structure. So GP are general partners, LP are limited partners. GP, these are the partners who actually run the business, they make decisions, they do the investments, and they receive their performance fees or management fees of the investments that they receive from limited partners. So limited partners just, they invest their capital and they receive all the gains from the business itself. So, continuing the same topic, in the traditional world, that's the way how the business is structured. What we did with Berezka DAO is we just used the same logic structured in the format of DAO. So you have GPs and GP tokens, and you have LPs and LP tokens. So the investors would go in and allocate their capital in exchange for the LP tokens that they would have on their wallets. And GPs would actually vote to make the decisions where they allocate the capital to different DeFi protocols to actually gain performance.
And who are the owners of GP tokens? How are they distributed?
At the moment there are just 3 GP partners, myself and 2 of my other partners. You know them. And but we're actually pushed by the community to actually cut out a significant portion of our GP tokens and start a form of, like a farming program or whatever, to make sure that over time some of the portion of these GP tokens might be distributed across the community. There's always this problem, you would probably well know, about the DAOs in general, that you always have a combination of going too distributed or too centralized. Once you go too distributed, there's always a problem of creating this unmanageable communism where you have tons of people all holding tokens, but you can never actually get them to vote. And that's a problem with like tons and tons of DAOs that actually went this way. And they have their DAOs, they have their tokens distributed, but things are not moving because decisions are not made. People just don't vote. And then on the other hand, you also have another problem where you have a group of founders who actually have all the GP tokens, and this is your pure centralization, which is actually, I don't think this is a big problem for the funds if you know who you trust the money with. So and lots of models are now evolving in the DAO format to see how you could sort of move from these extremes somewhere in the middle.
Okay. How did you perform at your two companies, the venture fund and Berezka DAO? Just the figures.
Yeah, so the venture fund, I will probably give you a very short story, let's say, because it was quite a history, right? So we started in 2017 with $1.5 million in assets, a third of which was just the capital of myself and my partner, who unfortunately passed away. We finished the year with 5 investments. Icon was one of the largest ones, so we finished with 21 million cash, which was great. Then we were lucky enough to actually take a chunk, about 4 to 6 million, to redistribute across the first investors. And then the rest we started reinvesting into other projects. But then when the crypto winter came, so the whole portfolio went down to probably about $2.5 million.
10 times.
Yeah. Along the way, we also paid out probably $500,000 to some of the investors who wanted to exit, at whatever time they wanted. As much as we could provide the liquidity, for this activity. And all this time we continued investing, right? So we invested in Clayton in 2019. We invested in 1inch and Graph, Casper Labs, Mina in 2020 and 2021. And now I think our portfolio, the combined portfolio, is about, I would say, about 16 to 17 million. And and it would still, take us probably 3 to 5 years to actually cash it all out, because most of the projects that started there, they moved their lockup calendars. Some of them changed their models and things because, that's life, right? So things happen. So we're quite happy with the venture side, and we will definitely continue doing this. Now, Berezka, we started mid-19 with our own, few $1,000s, basically testing different hypotheses. And on February 3rd of 2020, we started Berezka DAO as the first DAO. Since then, we grew to about $8-point-something million now in assets. Actually, if you go to berezka.io, you can track it pretty much 24/7. It's all on chain, it's all on like transparent wallets and whatever, and it's all liquid all the time. So you can withdraw everything to your last dollar pretty much at the push of a button. And that, depending on the products, there are also different products there. The conservative products that keep just the stable tokens are bringing about 43 to 45% of interest annually to our investors. If we're talking, about our largest and most notorious, I would say, product, which is called Berezka Flex, which is basically a composition of 70% in stable coins and 30% in Ethereum as the investment principal, investment body, which we then allocate to different protocols, DEXs, lending protocols, and we receive trading fees, lending fees, and the farming tokens. So that brought us about 140% annually. And then we have a more aggressive portfolios as well that are, they more than quadrupled, I think. So.
Okay. Tips for our investors. How can they earn with you? the venture fund, is it possible to join it? Still possible, or it's closed already? And Berezka.io.
Yeah, venture, we're not accepting any more money, any more LPs. It's becoming more and more like friends and family sort of story. Sometimes I'm announcing some deals on my Telegram channel, which is Ivanov Invest /RUS for Russia. And so yeah, that's that. If we're talking about Berezka, it's very open, so it's Web 3.0. So you go to Berezka.io.
Just buy tokens?
Yeah, you go in there, you connect your MetaMask, and as with any other platform on DeFi ecosystem, Uniswap, OneInch, whatever, you connect your MetaMask, you select the product that you want, you allocate your funds, you receive a token in return. Whenever you want to swap it back, you swap it back. So that's it.
Okay. And could you share some good ideas to the investors? What to buy, when to buy, or maybe that's the main product of your company, your analytics, that's why you can say, no, I will not share any ideas with others. So, but if you have any...
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it also I'm more than sure that you're more than aware of this. It really depends on each individual investor, right? Their risk profile, their stage of investments, like where are they standing? Are they trying to allocate, like grow their investment capital, or they're trying to save whatever they've earned already? So all of these things, they really they would end in different, let's say, advice, right, for this type of person. So, if you're saving, if you're trying to be very risk averse, and you would like to keep your invested principal as protected as possible, then apparently any farming product that can give you an opportunity to keep your investment principal in stable coins, like for our products, of course, this would be Berezka Deposit and Berezka Flex. That's probably the best solutions. Just allocate your stable tokens there. Anytime the market dips, you would definitely know that your invested principal would never be washed out. You would lose on the growth, of course, because if the market goes balloon, or crazy, you would definitely lose on this, potential multiples. You would still gain a lot, but you would lose on the potential gains. But of course, since we know that crypto market is very volatile, at the time when the market would dip, you would not lose at that time, which is good for a certain portion of your portfolio. Now, if you're looking into opportunities to multiply your capital, then of course your traditional story that you would need to have your basket cut into at least like 10 to 20 projects. Again, I might not be the best person to give advice on the trading strategies, meaning that those tokens that are already unlocked, already tradable, I wouldn't be capable to give some advice in terms of what sort of portfolio you would manage. But my bet would be to follow, of course, the top leaders. So basically, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot in a way. Matic is questionable, and then of course if you go to defipulse.com, track the top 10, top 15 DeFi projects and have a certain mix of tokens there. So if the market goes up, most likely they will. Now, if you want to look into some niche deals on the private sale that are very long term, like we have to understand that because of the lockup terms, which can last easily for like 3-5 years. OneInch, for example, right? The terms that we got in, it has 4 years of lockup, so you still have to wait when the lockups will come out. So, but then you would come at cents, right? Right now, with them trading at a few dollars is a big earning. So anyway, so that private rounds, I would definitely advise to go with somebody who actually does it professionally. Tons of them on the internet, trying to follow.
Okay. Could you tell us a few words about the conference itself? How do you enjoy it? Have you met the people you expected to meet? How were your sessions? I saw several times you on the stage, and what was the topic of the discussion that you made over there?
Yeah, thanks. since we're mostly focusing on two things at the moment, it's DeFi as the ecosystem and DAO as the as a model to manage a lot of funds. So these are the two topics that we're trying to sort of investigate and talk about on most of the public events at the moment. So the organization is definitely great. A lot of people around. I don't know if is it because of the post-COVID sort of symptom that everybody is tired of sitting in front of Zoom and want to talk and meet in person, which is definitely something that we all miss a lot. So in that sense, of course, a lot of people came from different countries, and it was great to meet some old friends and meeting some new ones. And yeah, so I hope it goes on, and we see more events like that.
What did you tell people from the stage? By the way, if there are any recordings, we'll ask the organizers. Maybe we'll also give the chance to our subscribers to see your speeches. What were the topics?
Well, I participated just in two things. So the thing today was I was judging the panel. I was one of the judges, basically giving votes to the projects who were pitching, and it was quite a very interesting event. And yesterday there was a talk about DeFi. I was on a panel, and of course, because of the short of time, the sort of limited amount of time, it's very difficult to communicate all the things that you wanted to. But yeah, we're talking about the future of DeFi as we see it, whether it will be more regulated than it is now, whether all the yields, the percentage points of API that are humongous at the moment, whether it's all another hype that will just die out, and why is it happening, things like that.
Okay, thank you for the interview, and stay with us.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Thank you.
Thanks. Big pleasure.